Word on the streets is that about a dozen rappers were just arrested right after new leaked footage from 50 Cent's explosive documentary went viral, sending shockwaves through the entire hip-hop world. The leaks reportedly captured career-ruining moments that left fans and insiders stunned. 50 Cent has not held back, openly mocking those involved and even sharing clips of their arrests. Today, we are breaking down the leaked footage, the massive fallout, the music industry implications, and why everyone in hip-hop cannot stop talking about it. To understand the current chaos, we need to look at the four-part Netflix documentary series titled Sean Combs: The Reckoning. 50 Cent, whose real name is Curtis James Jackson III, partnered with director Alexandria Stapleton to deliver an unflinching inside look at Diddy's true character and the dark underbelly of his music empire. This was no low-budget project. Netflix positioned it as a jaw-dropping, investigative, and revelatory documentary series that unpacks decades of shocking allegations surrounding Sean "Diddy" Combs and his Bad Boy Records empire. The series dives deep into pivotal chapters of Diddy's life and career. Early episodes re-examine the intense East Coast, West Coast tensions of the 1990s, including the still unsolved murders of Tupac Shakur and the Notorious B.I.G. It explores Diddy's fierce battles with rival labels like Death Row Records, his high-profile romantic relationships with celebrities such as Cassie Ventura, and the broader culture of power, excess, and control that defined his rise. Yet the segments that generated the most impact came from never-before-seen footage shot in the days leading up to Diddy's arrest, along with handwritten journal entries from Bad Boy co-founder Kirk Burroughs that documented years of managing Diddy's personal and financial affairs. This raw footage originated from a videographer Diddy himself had hired to chronicle his life for a personal documentary project. After the arrest, a third-party freelancer allegedly leaked the material. The lead documentarian, Michael Oberle, later described the leak as a profound betrayal rather than a simple payment dispute. He emphasized that someone had unethically passed the footage directly to 50 Cent's team. When asked about how he obtained the clips, 50 Cent remained coy in interviews, simply telling one outlet, "Why would you ask us to reveal our sources?" Director Alexandria Stapleton was equally firm, stating that the team had obtained the footage legally and secured all necessary rights. One consistent thread throughout Diddy's career has been his obsession with filming himself. The documentary did not shy away from these personal moments, many of which painted him in a deeply unflattering light. One particularly viral clip shows Diddy greeting fans in Harlem, posing for photos, then climbing back into his luxury vehicle. Once inside, he immediately demands hand sanitizer and declares that he feels dirty and needs a bath. 50 Cent seized on the moment, telling ABC News that it revealed volumes about Diddy's character and attitude toward the very people who supported him. 50 Cent explained his decision to executive produce the series as more than mere entertainment or rivalry. In interviews, he framed it as a moral responsibility. He argued that remaining silent would send the message that the hip-hop community was comfortable with the alleged behaviors. As one of the few prominent figures willing to speak openly, he felt obligated to stand up for victims who could not speak for themselves. He worried that failing to address these issues would allow the entire culture to be misrepresented and tarnished. The numbers validated the public hunger for the truth. The series reportedly drew more than 50 million views shortly after release, outperforming expectations and rivaling major Netflix franchises. The success transformed 50 Cent's public image. He was no longer seen only as an Instagram troll or battle rapper. He had become a producer capable of putting powerful industry figures under the microscope for millions to judge. This shift rattled the industry. Diddy's camp responded swiftly and aggressively, denouncing the documentary as a shameful hit piece. They condemned the use of private pre-arrest footage as unauthorized, unfair, and deeply personal. In public statements, Representatives accused Netflix of misappropriating material that Diddy had been compiling for years to tell his own story. They singled out 50 Cent's long-standing personal vendetta, claiming it was staggering that Netflix would hand creative influence to a longtime adversary who had spent years publicly attacking Diddy. Diddy's legal team even issued a cease and desist letter before the series dropped, but Netflix proceeded anyway. The streaming giant pushed back forcefully, asserting that all footage was obtained legally, that no one was paid to participate, and that Curtis Jackson served as executive producer without full creative control. They rejected any notion that the project was an act of retribution or tied to previous conversations with Diddy. In a bizarre twist, 50 Cent later claimed on social media that he received an early Christmas gift from Diddy, a bouquet of flowers delivered while he was performing in Miami. While the gesture could appear intimidating given the context, Diddy's representatives denied any involvement, suggesting it might have been someone's idea of a joke in poor taste. The documentary's release intensified public interest in the long-standing allegations against Diddy. Lawsuits, federal investigations, and civil claims gained renewed attention. The leaked footage added fuel to an already raging fire. Clips showed an agitated Diddy lashing out during legal discussions, instructing his team to find aggressive operators willing to engage in the dirtiest of dirty business to counter the claims against him. These moments humanized the desperation behind the polished celebrity image and raised serious questions about power dynamics in the music industry. Broader fallout has been seismic. Hip-hop insiders report a climate of anxiety and finger-pointing. The arrests that followed the latest leaks have only heightened the drama. Speculation runs wild about who might be next and what other tapes or evidence could surface. For decades, whispers about parties, NDAs, and alleged misconduct circulated quietly. The documentary and subsequent leaks have dragged those conversations into the open, forcing the industry to confront uncomfortable truths. 50 Cent's approach has been characteristically unfiltered. He continues to post and comment, blending humor, mockery, and pointed criticism. His supporters view him as a truth-teller willing to risk industry backlash. Critics accuse him of settling old scores under the guise of justice. Regardless of motive, his involvement has undeniably amplified the story's reach and impact. Beyond the personal feud, the saga highlights deeper systemic issues. The concentration of power in the hands of a few moguls, the culture of silence around misconduct, and the role of media in holding influential figures accountable are all under scrutiny. Younger artists and fans are questioning the myths that once protected certain legacies. Streaming platforms now wield enormous influence over which narratives dominate public discourse. As more footage circulates and legal proceedings unfold, the hip-hop community finds itself at a crossroads. Some defend Diddy as a visionary who built empires and provided opportunities for countless artists. Others see a pattern of alleged abuse that was enabled for too long. The documentary has made it harder to look away. 50 Cent's decision to involve himself so publicly signals a shift. In an era where social media allows direct engagement with fans, gatekeepers have less control over information flow. Leaks travel faster than ever. Reputations that once seemed bulletproof can crumble in days. The series and its aftermath demonstrate how one well-placed rival with resources and platform can reshape the conversation around an entire era of music. The music itself has taken on new layers of meaning. Classic bad boy tracks now play with added context, sometimes uncomfortably. Playlists are being re-examined. Fans debate whether to separate the art from the artist. Streaming numbers for both Diddy's catalog and 50 Cent's have fluctuated amid the controversy, showing how deeply these stories affect commercial outcomes. Looking ahead, the industry faces difficult questions. Will other documentaries follow, exposing additional figures? Will artists speak more openly about their experiences? Can hip-hop rebuild trust with its audience while reckoning with its past? The leaked footage and arrests represent more than tabloid drama. They mark a cultural moment where long-ignored issues are demanding attention. 50 Cent has positioned himself at the center of this reckoning, whether as hero, provocateur, or both. His documentary has done more than entertain. It has forced a conversation that many preferred to keep private. As the dust continues to settle and more names surface, one thing is clear. The hip-hop landscape is changing, and the stories coming to light will shape its future for years to come. The viral clips, the arrests, the mocking posts, and the defensive statements all form part of a larger narrative about power, accountability, and legacy. In an industry built on larger-than-life personas, the fall from grace can be swift and public. For now, the world watches as this chapter unfolds, wondering who else will be caught in the spotlight next. The leaks reportedly captured career-ruining moments that left fans and insiders stunned. 50 Cent has not held back, openly mocking those involved and even sharing clips of their arrests. Today, we are breaking down the leaked footage, the massive fallout, the music industry, implications, and why everyone in hip-hop cannot stop talking about it. The documentary series includes powerful interviews with jurors from Diddy's federal trial. This trial stems from serious charges including racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking by force, fraud or coercion, and transportation to engage in prostitution. The series arrived shortly after Diddy's conviction on 2 prostitution-related charges, resulting in a 50-month prison sentence. Following extended time in a high-security detention center, his request for transfer to a lower-security facility in New Jersey was approved, allowing him to serve under relatively less harsh conditions. Even now, the legal troubles continue to mount. New claims surfaced in court proceedings, including testimony from an escort service owner who alleged that Diddy requested more than 30 male escorts. Attorneys also indicated that additional state criminal charges could be filed. 50 Cent responded in typical fashion on Instagram with a blunt message aimed directly at his longtime rival. He posted, "New charges court docs say Diddy raped a male escort then threatened him saying, 'I got 2 packets.'" These developments keep the story alive and fuel ongoing public scrutiny. Adding another layer of complexity, a former sex worker featured in the documentary filed a lawsuit against both 50 Cent and Netflix. The suit accuses them of deliberate editing, distortion, and misrepresentation of her account. According to the complaint, the producers portrayed Cassie Ventura as the primary victim, while omitting and suppressing the plaintiff's own testimony. Despite these legal challenges coming from multiple directions, 50 Cent shows no signs of slowing down. If anything, the controversy seems to energize him further. To truly understand why 50 Cent pursued this documentary so aggressively, it helps to examine the deep-rooted beef between him and Diddy. The two have been industry peers for decades, but their relationship has been anything but friendly. While they collaborated on a few tracks early on, tensions eventually boiled over into a long-running feud filled with business clashes, diss tracks, conspiracy allegations, relentless trolling, and now this high-profile documentary. The friction traces back to the early days of 50 Cent's rise. He worked with Diddy on several songs from the notorious B.I.G.'s posthumous album. For a time, they moved in the same circles and conducted business together. That cooperation did not last. 50 Cent later released a diss track featuring sounds of gunfire, in which he publicly suggested that Diddy knew the identity of Biggie's killer. This accusation crossed a major line, accusing someone of having knowledge about one of hip-hop's most infamous unsolved murders. Biggie's 1997 drive-by shooting turned their relationship permanently hostile. No one has ever been charged in the case, making 50 Cent's claims particularly explosive. Despite occasional moments of public banter and even joint trolling of other artists like Rick Ross during various industry feuds, the underlying tension never fully disappeared. 50 Cent would periodically reignite things, criticizing Diddy's music and public persona. In one memorable interview, he recounted an uncomfortable personal encounter at a wedding where Diddy allegedly made comments that 50 interpreted as inappropriate, leading him to remove himself from the situation quickly to avoid conflict. Diddy, for his part, often downplayed the rivalry. In interviews, he would smile and insist there was no real beef, claiming that 50 Cent actually loved him and that the aggression was one-sided affection rather than genuine hate. These dismissals only seemed to fuel 50 Cent's persistence. The personal nature of the feud became a defining feature. Beyond music and business, it touched on sensitive topics including allegations around violence, power dynamics, and personal conduct. By the time Diddy's legal troubles gained widespread attention, 50 Cent had built significant production resources, including his own company and a Netflix partnership. What began as social media trolling evolved into a full-scale documentary project bearing his rival's name. Not everyone supports 50 Cent's approach. Some longtime figures in hip-hop have pushed back strongly. Ja Rule, one of 50 Cent's oldest and fiercest rivals, reignited their long-standing feud in response to the documentary. Ja Rule criticized 50 Cent's involvement, calling him a cancer to the culture and suggesting ulterior motives behind the project. He drew parallels between 50 Cent and Diddy, referencing past personal allegations against 50 Cent, including an incident involving the mother of his son. The Ja Rule and 50 Cent beef itself stretches back over 2 decades and remains one of hip-hop's most enduring conflicts. It reportedly began after Ja Rule was robbed at gunpoint in Queens by associates linked to 50 Cent. Different accounts exist about the exact trigger. 50 Cent claimed in his biography that Ja Rule became enraged after seeing him socializing with the person who robbed him. Ja Rule has offered a different version, denying he ever witnessed such an interaction and pointing, instead to perceived slights involving business dealings and respect issues within their shared circles. This layered history of rivalries, accusations, and personal grievances provides crucial context for why 50 Cent invested so heavily in exposing Diddy's alleged misconduct. The documentary is not just about one man's legal troubles. It represents the culmination of years of bad blood, industry grudges, and shifting power dynamics. The series also sheds light on broader patterns within the music business. Interviews with jurors offer rare insight into how the federal case unfolded, revealing the weight of evidence presented around racketeering, trafficking, and organized misconduct. These accounts humanize the legal process and demonstrate how celebrity status can both shield and ultimately expose individuals when enough pressure builds. Meanwhile, the leaked footage continues to circulate and generate reactions. Clips showing Diddy in private moments, agitated, strategic, and sometimes dismissive, have forced fans to reconcile the glamorous public image with these raw glimpses behind the curtain. 50 Cent's decision to amplify these materials keeps the pressure on, ensuring the conversation does not fade. The lawsuit from the former sex worker adds an ironic twist. While 50 Cent positions himself as a champion for victims and accountability, critics argue that the editing choices in the documentary may have distorted certain testimonies for dramatic effect. This legal action highlights the complexities and potential collateral damage when producing explosive investigative content. Throughout it all, 50 Cent maintains his signature unapologetic style. His Instagram responses blend mockery, direct commentary, and business savvy. Supporters see him as a fearless voice willing to challenge powerful figures. Detractors view his actions as opportunistic score settling dressed up as justice. The hip-hop community finds itself divided. Some defend Diddy as a pioneering mogul who created opportunities for many artists and shaped modern music culture. Others point to decades of whispers about parties, NDAs, and alleged exploitation that the documentary has now thrust into mainstream view. The arrests following the latest leaks suggest that the ripple effects are still expanding, with more names potentially surfacing. At its core, this saga reveals deep systemic issues: unchecked power in the hands of influential executives, a culture of silence enabled by fame and money, and the role of media and streaming platforms in reshaping narratives. Younger generations of artists and fans are increasingly vocal about demanding better standards and transparency. 50 Cent's evolution from battle rapper and Instagram provocateur to executive producer with the ability to reach millions through a major platform marks a significant shift in how industry feuds play out. Information travels faster, consequences arrive quicker, and legacies that once seemed untouchable can be reevaluated rapidly. The music itself carries new weight. Classic hits from both artists now play against a backdrop of controversy, prompting listeners to debate separating art from the artist. Streaming numbers fluctuate as public opinion sways. Playlists are curated with added context or avoided entirely depending on personal stances. As legal proceedings continue and more footage potentially emerges, the industry faces uncomfortable questions. How many other stories remain untold? Will more artists come forward? Can hip-hop confront its past while protecting its future creativity and business? 50 Cent shows no intention of stepping back. His involvement has transformed a personal rivalry into a wider cultural reckoning. Whether viewed as hero, villain, or calculated opportunist, he has succeeded in keeping the spotlight firmly on Diddy's troubles and forcing difficult conversations across the genre. The combination of court testimony, leaked private moments, public trolling, and counter-lawsuits creates a perfect storm of drama that the hip-hop world cannot ignore. This is no longer just about two rappers trading shots. It is about accountability, power, legacy, and the evolving rules of engagement in modern celebrity culture. In the end, the documentary and its aftermath illustrate how deeply personal histories can intersect with public scandals. The beef that began decades ago in recording studios and street corners has now played out on streaming screens and courtrooms, captivating audiences and reshaping reputations along the way. As developments unfold, one thing remains certain: the conversation sparked by 50 Cent's project is far from over, and its impact on hip-hop will be felt for years to come. The leaks reportedly captured career-ruining moments that left fans and insiders stunned. 50 Cent has not held back, openly mocking those involved and sharing clips of their arrests. Today, we break down the leaked footage, the massive fallout, the music industry implications, and why everyone in hip-hop cannot stop talking about it. The feud between Ja Rule and 50 Cent runs deep and personal. It has involved sharp diss tracks from both sides and even spilled into physical altercations. One notorious incident happened when 50 Cent's G-Unit crew crossed paths with Murder Inc. at Hit Factory Studios in New York. Ja Rule allegedly received a tip that 50 Cent was recording there and showed up, leading to a confrontation where Murder Inc. rapper Black Child stabbed 50 Cent. When Ja Rule recently criticized 50 Cent over the Diddy documentary, it was not a random shot. It represented the latest chapter in a rivalry spanning a full quarter century. Ja Rule has stood firmly in support of Diddy since the earliest lawsuits involving sexual misconduct and other serious charges surfaced against him. In response to Ja Rule's attacks, 50 Cent fired back in classic fashion by sharing a video clip of former Diddy bodyguard Gene Deal. In the footage, Deal recounts seeing Diddy and Ja Rule emerging from a room wearing only towels. 50 Cent captioned the post with biting humor, "In case you're wondering why these people are saying very nasty things about me. Law." Diddy's own sons, Justin Combs and Christian King Combs, stepped into the fray as well. They announced plans to star in a new documentary series on the Zeus network that would explore how their family has been impacted by their father's federal trial and conviction. The brothers released a trailer on social media showing them watching courthouse footage, visibly affected by the events surrounding their father. King Combs also dropped a song titled Pick a Side, openly supporting Diddy and directly targeting critics like 50 Cent. During an earlier raid on Diddy's home, both sons were temporarily handcuffed and detained by authorities, though neither faced charges. Through it all, 50 Cent kept the trolling relentless. After appearing measured in some mainstream interviews, 50 Cent shifted back into full provocative mode with clever digital edits and memes. He revived old connections between Diddy and Jay-Z from a dismissed legal case and even turned the drama into a commercial. In a DoorDash ad campaign, 50 Cent winked at the audience while claiming his trolling days were behind him, all while cleverly referencing Diddy's prison sentence. The spot blended humor with pointed pettiness, using a major brand platform to highlight the rivalry. Having already executive produced the Netflix series Sean Combs, The Reckoning, 50 Cent has positioned himself as both the historian and the executioner in these celebrity beefs. The fallout from the documentary has been enormous, drawing reactions from Ja Rule, Diddy's family, and the wider public. Yet 50 Cent was already setting his sights on the next target. He posted on Instagram about rumors that he is developing a documentary focused on T.I. and Tiny's sexual assault allegations. He shared a screenshot of an article and added a pointed caption. "Remember how quiet I got before the Diddy doc? Dame thought I wasn't coming. I hope this doesn't mess up your promo tour. They're going to ask about your 20 sexual assault cases. You might want to talk to a crisis PR person." The title he teased, Surviving T.I. and Tiny, deliberately echoes the format of the impactful Surviving R. Kelly series. This move represents the latest escalation in a conflict with T.I. that dates back many years. It originally flared up when 50 Cent labeled T.I. a snitch following his legal issues and plea deal. The tension reignited recently when T.I. accused 50 Cent of avoiding a versus battle during album promotion. 50 Cent responded with social media trolling, and T.I. countered with multiple diss tracks. T.I.'s sons, King Harris and others, joined in by releasing their own tracks aimed at 50 Cent. The situation took a darker turn when T.I.'s son King Harris went live with a heated rant that targeted 50 Cent's late mother, Sabrina Jackson, who passed away when 50 was only 8 years old. King even wore a t-shirt featuring her image, a move so extreme that T.I. himself later admitted it went too far. In an interview, T.I. distanced himself somewhat, saying his family members were acting on their own, but expressing pride in their unity, while acknowledging he had advised his son to step back. Instead of responding with traditional diss tracks, 50 Cent chose a more strategic and potentially damaging weapon, the threat of another documentary. He has shown he can destroy opponents on film rather than just in verses. The pattern is now clear. The Reckoning served as proof of concept, demonstrating how effectively he can control a narrative and reach massive audiences. Whether or not the T.I. ND Tiny project materializes fully, the mere announcement has already put T.I. on the defensive, dominated headlines, and sent a message to the entire industry. The allegations against T.I. and Tiny are serious and extensive. Over 30 women and one man have accused the couple of a pattern involving drugging, kidnapping, and sexual assault. The claims began gaining traction in 2021 when an Atlanta entrepreneur publicly accused T.I. of holding a gun to her head. Many others came forward with strikingly similar stories of being invited to VIP areas or hotel suites, given drinks, and allegedly assaulted. T.I. and Tiny have vehemently denied all accusations, maintaining that any encounters were consensual between adults. Despite the volume of claims, no criminal convictions have resulted. Investigations in certain cities were opened but ultimately closed, often due to statutes of limitations. T.I. has addressed the allegations publicly, stating that whatever he and Tiny have done was with consenting adults who shared their preferences. 50 Cent is operating precisely in the space between legal outcomes and public perception, where reputation can be shaped even when courtrooms have not delivered final judgments. As of now, There is no confirmed production schedule, network deal, or footage proving that surviving T.I. and Tiny is actively filming. Yet 50 Cent understands the power of the threat in today's viral media landscape. Simply floating the idea creates massive pressure, forces defensive responses, and keeps the conversation centered on the allegations. He even released a diss track on the Power Origins theme song that targets not only T.I., but also Tiny and their children, further escalating the long-running feud. 50 Cent has survived being shot 9 times, outlasted countless industry shifts, and built a powerful business empire. Throughout his career, his sharpest weapon has often been his refusal to let any beef fade away quietly. He uses timing, platforms, and narrative control to maximum effect. The Diddy documentary proved he could deliver a project that captured tens of millions of views and shifted public discourse. Now, he is applying the same playbook elsewhere. This approach raises important questions across hip-hop. The industry is watching closely as personal rivalries transform into large-scale media productions capable of reshaping legacies. Some view 50 Cent as a fearless truth-teller exposing uncomfortable realities. Others see him as a calculated opportunist who weaponizes old grudges for relevance and profit. Regardless of perspective, his methods are forcing difficult conversations about accountability, power, consent, and the line between entertainment and exploitation. The broader culture of hip-hop finds itself at a turning point. Long-standing whispers about misconduct, NDAs, and unchecked behavior by powerful figures are now aired publicly. Documentary series and leaked footage have become tools that can elevate or destroy careers faster than any diss track ever could. Younger artists are taking note, recognizing that social media and streaming platforms have democratized information in ways that bypass traditional gatekeepers. Meanwhile, the music itself carries new context. Classic tracks from the involved artists play differently now, layered with public knowledge of the controversies. Fans debate separating art from the artist, while streaming numbers rise and fall with each new development. Playlists are being reconsidered. The industry's response remains mixed. Some defend legacies and call for due process, while others demand stricter standards and more transparency. 50 Cent shows no signs of slowing down. His combination of sharp wit, business savvy, and unrelenting drive keeps him at the center of these storms. From Instagram posts to major network productions, he continues to evolve the art of the modern celebrity feud. What started as street-level rivalries has scaled into something far more sophisticated and far-reaching. The only certainty is that this is not the end. More names, more stories, and more projects may follow. 50 Cent has demonstrated time and again that he does not forget, does not let up, and does not hesitate to turn personal conflicts into public reckonings. The hip-hop world remains on edge, wondering who will face the spotlight next as these high-stakes dramas continue to unfold.